Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the trading community. I just want to do a quick one today, explaining to you why it's very important to focus on one-to-one risk to reward. Forget about everything you're seeing online about those people using 10 to 1 risk to reward. It is, in my own opinion, as a beginner trader, not realistic because you're going to lose a lot of trades. You're going to lose a lot of trades before you can even get that 1 to 3 risk to reward and 1 to 10 risk to reward. But when you focus on 1 risk to reward, your probability of winning trades actually increases. Okay, and this is an example of the reason why I actually think that way, or I actually think so. And if you follow a lot of profitable traders that I've actually studied, what they use is just 1 to 1 risk to reward ratio. That's just the truth. Okay, your ability to simplify things is what is going to make you trading. Forget about all those complicated strategy, those 10 to 1 risk to reward, 4 to 1 risk to reward. It's not really realistic, in my opinion, when you're just starting off. Okay, so it's good to always try your best to keep things simple. I'll give you an example here now. This is AUDCHF pair, and you can see it's in a downtrend, right? And remember our strategy, the 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. You're just waiting for that reversal, right? This is 1 now, 2. This is like 3. Let's put our support here, and then our resistance here. Look at it, it's as simple as that, right? Then you can name this place your 1, 2, right? And then you can see that we are reversing here, and we are anticipating a potential reversal here at number 4. Then you'll be targeting the what? The middle, the midpoint. Just simple. You see how simple the strategy is. I'm not really telling you to put any Fibonacci, any complicated tool. This is just what I trade with just 2 lines in a trend. I'm just waiting for the potential reversal at number 4. Simple. You can see. So what am I trying to say today now is when you put your take profit and your stop loss here now, right? Look at how I did it. Then you drag this your take profit now to the midpoint, which is where you're expecting to take your profit, right? Yeah, boys and girls. This is let's say I'm eyeballing the midpoint now. Once you've eyeballed the midpoint, then you now decide to drag your stop loss down to a 1 to 1 risk to reward now. Meaning if you win this trade, let's say you're risking 1% now out of your entire capital. If you win this trade, you've made 1%. If you lose this trade, you've lost just 1%. Okay, 1 to 1 risk to reward. This is your potential take profit. This is where you're expecting to take the profit at the middle. But do you know what a lot of people usually just do? They now drag their stop loss down into, let's say, 2 to 1 risk to reward. This is 2 to 1 risk to reward now, right? Because this is where they are expecting to take their profit. Why? Because they want to maximize profit. They want to make 2% here, and then if it doesn't go their way, they will lose 1%. Okay, but as a beginner trader, you see the difference between me putting my stop loss here. You see that there's enough room for this trade to breathe, even if price starts jingling around here, right? I can decide to cut it at any time. Okay, so you should learn to focus on 1 to 1 risk to reward as a beginner trader. I'm telling you, even the top traders actually focus on 1 to 1 risk to reward. I'll give you an example now. Let's say this trade comes into my point, right? It starts going like this, and then before you know, we start getting this reversal, right? And then before you know, it takes you out, right? And let's say it's eventually comes to your take profit. What have you done here? You see that there's a low probability of that trade actually really playing out, right? But when your risk to reward is at a 1 to 1 risk to reward now, you can see there's enough room for you to think of what to do. Okay, you can even think of closing the trade somewhere at around this point that you see that it's already jingling. You can decide to close the trade here, and then you will have actually lost just a fraction of even the 1% you lost. It gives you enough time to think of what to do. Okay, just you've closed half of the trade now at this point. Now you didn't really take the full 1% loss. right? Even if it eventually comes there, but at least you actually closed at a half percent. You didn't take the full 1% loss. Do you understand? Then, but even according to statistics, um, after a series of trades at a support and a resistance level, let's say after a series of maybe 10 to 20 trades, you most practically end up with a 50% win rate, meaning that you would have lost 50% of the time and won 50% of the time. Okay, let's say you would have won out of 20 trades, you would have won 10, lost 10, won 10, lost 10. So practically, that is a break-even strategy. You didn't win, you didn't lose anything. But if you're using a one-to-one risk to reward now, and then you're closing some of those your trades, let's say it starts trading around this point, and you decide to close it, right? You will have saved the remainder of this risk that you wanted to go into it with. Okay, you will have saved the remainder of those risks, and then, but if it's going to go into your take profit, bam, you'll have actually made that 1%. Do you understand? That is what I mean by cutting some of your losses and letting your winners actually run. Then after your 20 trades, right? These ones that you actually cut sooner, right? That you felt like, okay, it's not going to play out anymore. That is what is going to now, make the difference. That is what is going to make you profitable after that 20 trades, right? Although you lost those trades, right? You lost those trades and you won this 10. You lost 10, you won 10. Automatically, it's supposed to be a break even, but the fact that you actually cut some of these losses, you cut some of them, that is what is going to make you profitable. That's what is going to be the difference. Let's even say all the trades that you lost, you cut them at half the percentage of what you risk. Okay, let's say you're risking 1% and then you're cutting it at half. That means you're losing just half percentage out of the 10 that you lost. That means at the end of the trade, at the end of 20 trades, you will have actually, let's say you won 5, and you won 10 and you lost 10. That means you will still be profitable, right? You will still be profitable. Do you understand? So that is why it's very important to even focus on one-to-one risk to reward. But if you're focusing on two-to-one risk to reward, one, you've not really understood the risk to reward. Okay, since you're just starting off, you need to first of all start with that one-to-one risk to reward ratio in order to help you understand your strategy more, gain more experience while you're even making money at the same time. Okay, so one-to-one risk to reward is the way to go. Although there are some times where you see me expecting a let's say 4-to-1 risk to reward and 5-to-1 risk to reward. It all depends on the setting at that moment, okay? And it all depends on my experience that I've actually gained over the years. So that is why sometimes you see me with a 4-to-1 risk to reward. But primarily, what I do focus on is what 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So whatever strategy you're trying to develop, you need to make sure that you start with a one-to-one risk to reward. Once you've decided where your take profit is going to be, then all you need to do is drag the stop loss to a point whereby it becomes a one-to-one risk to reward from the take profit. Okay. So I just thought I'd actually run you through on how risk to reward actually works. Also, let me give you an example of the trade we actually took with Bitcoin. Right now, I'm currently on a trade on Bitcoin as well. As you can see, right? This is my trade on Bitcoin right now. I actually took it at this point. So what I'm doing now is I'm expecting us to tag this midpoint for my take profit. But you can see that if it starts breaking down below, somewhere around here, I can decide to just cut it. But imagine if I'm actually using a let's say 4-to-1 risk to reward, right? This is where my risk is, and then I'm targeting this place because I'm looking for big money. You can just easily take me out and then maybe start doing something like this. It doesn't really give me enough chance to think of what to do, maybe if I should cut it, right? So that is the reason why focusing on a one-to-one risk to reward is very, very important. Even at this point here, on my last trade here, you can see I could have actually decided to cut the trade somewhere around here itself at a break even, but I just decided not to. I decided to take the 1% loss. Okay, so that's just how it is. And as you can see, based on my what they call it, intuition and all, I'm actually expecting us to trade into around 70k. So that would have probably been around 4.8 risk to reward ratio if I don't even close at the middle here. Okay, maybe I'll just take some off at the middle here. This one is based on my experience and my intuition and all. You understand? So let's just see how it actually plays out. But once we start breaking out here, you can see I can actually just close um, with just a small loss, probably not even taking the full 1%. Okay, so you see how easy it is for me to even take the time to decide on what to do if we start breaking below. So even with the other FX pairs, there's still no trade opportunities. You can see I'm only just waiting for this one here with the AUD and then if there's any other trade opportunity that presents itself, I'm going to let you know in the Telegram channel. Okay, so have a lovely week, guys. Let's see what trade opportunity actually presents us. Oh, also forgotten that um I'm also on this trade here. I'm still on my turn trade, right? You can see let's go to the daily. You can see with my turn here, 1 2 3. I'm taking this from the weekly, but I went to the daily time frame to get the trigger, expecting us to tag the middle here. So that's just how my turn trade currently is. You can see that there's enough space for me to breach here, one-to-one risk to reward ratio. Okay, so let's just see how it actually plays out. Okay, have a lovely week, guys.